All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Data Over Ego. I'm your host, Jacob Chandler, and today I'm going to answer the question, should you do drop shipping or should you buy your inventory and fulfill it yourself? But first, I want to show you this. All right, so before we dive into the video, I just wanted to go over two of our stores that we run. One does drop shipping, which is on the screen now. The other one, we actually build the products and warehouse them and ship them out ourselves via a third-party logistics company. I just wanted to show you really the main differences between a drop shipping store and a store that has its own inventory, that actually has a brand behind it. This one here, we send a lot of traffic to, as you can see. But the conversion rate's a lot lower, and you oftentimes see that with a drop shipping store where people see a lot of the products. Like this store has a 0.5% conversion rate. We do send a lot of traffic to the blog for this website, which skews that a little bit. It's probably closer to a 1. But that's what you'll see, where if you go to actually our store that we keep inventory, we're getting a 2.82% conversion rate. And the other big difference here is the returning customer rate. So with the store where we're actually building the product and owning that customer experience, we're getting a 22% returning customer rate, which is a pretty good returning customer rate. Where with a drop shipping store, the product's a little bit cheaper, but we don't actually control the customer experience. We're getting a 9.21% returning customer rate. So that's half of what the other store is. So that's really the main difference, right? With drop shipping, our margin's obviously less. With wholesale, where we actually own the product and build the product ourselves and ship it out through our third-party logistics company, our margin's a lot higher. Where here, we might do 2 to 3 to 1. If a product costs us $1 per se, we're selling it for $2 or $3. Where with the product that we're actually building ourselves, we're doing about a 4 to 5 to 1. So the margin's clearly a lot better. So that helps us from an ad standpoint to be able to send more traffic from ads. So that's just it, right? Like this store here is selling a lot of these AliExpress products, drop shipping them, where we don't really own that experience. It may take them a little bit longer to get, and that's why that one only has a 9.21% returning customer rate, where the other one, we're actually building the products and packing and shipping them ourselves with our own packaging, not necessarily ourselves, but our 3PL, third-party logistics company, shipping them. And that's why that's getting higher returning customer rate, because the experience they're getting is better. But now I'm going to just roll through the pros and cons of doing drop shipping and the cons of drop shipping, right? Because there are a lot of both. And I just kind of want to walk you through it and then give you what my recommendation would be for you. Okay, so here are the pros of drop shipping. All right, there's no startup money, so anybody can go out there and start their own store and build their own site within literally a matter of seconds, right? So there's no risk for you to actually start it other than, a $30 hosting fee with Shopify, and you find they have products in Alibaba, and then you start trying to generate traffic for it. There's no really startup cost for you. You don't have to pay, we've had stores where we spent 50 grand on inventory before the store actually went live. That's not something you're actually going to have to worry about. It's very hands-off for you, right? You don't have to be hands-on and fulfill the inventory yourself, where some of the brands that we own and that we work with, we're really hands-on when it comes to product design, actually making sure the product is quality and all of that. That's not something you have to worry about when you're doing drop shipping, because you just go out there, you can go on AliExpress, you can pick 50 products you want to sell and get them on your site in literally a matter of minutes, and you don't have to worry about, oh, how do I, should I make the phrasing on the shirt say this or that? What kind of material do I want the shirt to be? You don't have to worry about any of that when you're doing drop shipping, which allows you really to focus on marketing more, because you don't need to do any of that product R&D. And it's really drop shipping. Another pro is it just allows you to promote an endless amount of products. So you can test, anything on your store to try to sell it. So those are the pros. I think when it comes to drop shipping overall, you can have a good margin with stuff, but there tends to be a lot of cons that come with it too. So let me just talk about those. So there's a lot of competition when you're doing drop shipping, because anybody can sell the products that you have. So unless you can find a unique company that you can work with to drop ship their products, it's going to be hard for you to really stand out in the market, especially if you're trying to do things such as Google shopping ads per se. Because if you're selling that item and you think it's going to do well, you're not the only one that's going to be selling that item. So if you're trying to do Google shopping or even Facebook ads, other people have probably seen that product, and if they like it, they're going to Google it and just go at the lowest cost, which in the end is going to hurt your margin, unless you find a unique company to work with. Another con is you don't have any control over the packaging or the customer experience. So once you get a sale and you pass it on to whoever's fulfilling it for you, they control the packaging of it, they control the way it looks, they control the quality of the product, they control how long it takes them to ship it out. And you not owning that customer experience is not a good thing for you when it comes to retaining these customers over their lifetime. The way I like to look at e-commerce brands is the lifetime value is everything. So with drop shipping, you tend to see a lower customer lifetime value than the brands that actually build the products and ship them or use the 3PL to fulfill them, but they control that customer experience. So that's a major con of drop shipping, is you don't control that customer experience. Then I just touched on that, this next bullet point, but yeah, you tend to have a lifetime value drop if you're doing Alibaba products or other drop shipping products, just because the quality is lower, and again, you don't control that experience. So unless you're white labeling products, so say you're building up this drop shipping company and you're acquiring customers at a low rate and you're making some profit, you have a lot of customers. If you were doing that same thing for your own brand, where you were manufacturing the products first rather than just drop shipping, if you were doing that for your own brand, you would get a way higher multiple when you go to sell, because you're building an actual brand. You're not just building a company that's found a few different cool ways to advertise a product and to get customers at a cheap rate. So if you were to figure out how to get customers at a cheap rate when building your own brand, when you go to sell it, you may get a 5, 6, 7 multiple of your net income, of your EBITDA, where if you're just selling drop shipping products, you're probably going to get a 2x of your EBITDA, just because you're not an actual brand. You just have an email list that happened to sell a bunch of shitty products. So those are the cons, and it's always, for the most part, lower margin, since there is so much more competition. So if you're building your own brand, creating your own products and that are unique, you can have a higher markup of those of 4 to 5x, where typically when you're drop shipping, you can do 2 to 3 times what it costs you. So there are pros and cons. If you're risk averse, drop shipping can be good for you. If you like building what I would consider a more real business, that when you go to sell it, you'll get a higher multiple, I would definitely recommend building your own products and shipping your own products that are unique. But what my recommendation and verdict would be is that it's really up to you what you want to do. What we would do, and what I've done with brands in the past, is find a few products that I think are good, test them out. Then once you see, we have a few bracelets that we're doing well. Once you start seeing something do well, then you start manufacturing something similar to it, and then you warehouse it. Then over time, you keep building the SKUs up that you're fulfilling either yourself or locally at a third-party logistics company, where you can control the packaging and how fast the customer gets it. And that way, you're kind of using a hybrid approach where it's not as risky as just going out there and buying $50,000 worth of inventory. And you're testing it risk-free at first. Then once you get some traction, then you can start buying the product and customizing the product, because you know you're already going to have a customer list that you can sell it to. So that's what I would recommend doing some sort of hybrid model, where if you want to start your store risk-free, find a niche that you want to be in, whether that be fashion, jewelry, accessories, whatever, toys, whatever. Find the niche, find 20 products. Once you start finding a few that have traction, either order them and get inventory of them and start fulfilling them yourself so you have a higher margin, or do that same thing and have a third-party logistics company fulfilling them. And then once you find those products that are doing well and you have a good 10 to 20 SKUs, start building your own that are similar to those products, where you can actually be unique and build a real brand. So 5-10 years down the road, you can go to sell your company and get a way better multiple. But that's my verdict. That's what we would do, kind of take a hybrid model. But there's pros and cons to both. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. If you want to reach out to me, My blog is dataoverego.com. My advertising agency is Prolific Media, where we spend over $30 million to make $150 million for our clients. And you can just go to prolific.media. That's our website if you feel like reaching out. But thanks. Until next time, enjoy the coffee.